Hey guys, welcome to Facts for You. This is your host, Stephen Reed, and we're your number one source for breaking news about family and consumer science. As you know, today is Friday, and that means we're going to take a look at a hot topic in the world of child development. So, my idea for this episode came while I was jamming out to a song on the radio that had a line that went like this.
We just watching Netflix, she ain't got no cable, okay though.
So I'm listening to it, and I think, whoa, did Chance the Rapper just name drop Netflix in a song? And it got me thinking about a song that I heard when I was a kid. And it goes like this.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this.
Whoa, this is making me feel pretty old. I mean, I'm only 25, but I remember when I was a kid being so jealous of things like Super Nintendos, Sega Genesis, Game Boys, stuff like that. And now you guys, you're way beyond that. You're way beyond Nintendos. A lot of you are beyond cable because you're watching Netflix, you're watching YouTube, and you're doing it way more than you're watching normal TV. You have it on your phones, your tablets, iPads. You're watching what you want, when you want, and the whole world is in your hands. And so that got me thinking, I know that the media landscape is totally different for teenagers, but how is it affecting the media landscape for children, like kids aged 2 to 7? And so it got me thinking back on a guideline that was released when I was a kid in the year 1999. And this is kind of the basis for a lot of people's opinions on media for children. And it was released by the American Academy of Pediatricians. And their recommendation was for kids under 2 years old, they should have no screen time at all. And for kids 2 and older, they should be limited to 1 to 2 hours. So that probably sounds pretty crazy in this world that we live in now, this modern society, because there's screens everywhere, phones, iPads, and it's just unavoidable. So for kids nowadays, is that 1 to 2 hour recommendation, is it possible? Is it even appropriate? In my opinion, I think we need to change the perspective on how we approach digital media for children and start taking context into consideration and start choosing media that has value and worth. Because just basing how you raise your child on a simple time limit guideline may be obsolete in the digital age. So what are some things that parents are scared of when it comes to allowing their children to watch television or engage in digital media? Well, one of the things is physical health. There's an obesity crisis in America, and it's starting to affect the entire world, and people are very quick to blame TV. And so researchers have looked into this, and one of the reasons why TV has been a main culprit in regards to children's obesity is the advertisements that they play. I mean, especially back in the day, you couldn't go 5 minutes without seeing an ad for McDonald's or some kind of sugary cereal like Trix or Cookie Crisp, like stuff like that, where it's very clearly unhealthy foods, but foods that children are drawn to. And researchers and academics could see that this was starting to have a negative effect on kids. And so when they did their studies, they found out that children who watched these ads that showed sugary and fatty foods, they were actually more likely to eat more afterwards. Like it gave them additional appetite and made them increased consumers of food, which obviously has the potential to lead to obesity. And so I'm thinking, in this age, how are people watching television? Do people sit down with the remote and flip through channels anymore? Not as much. In fact, I feel like the majority of teenagers, at least, are switching to platforms like Netflix and Amazon Video and YouTube Red, where they can watch content without ads. And research has shown that even children are starting to get a bigger percentage of their media from sources like this, which, most importantly, have no ads. And so if we can get the content without the advertising, does TV and other media have the same negative effect on children in regards to their physical health, it's a question that will have to be looked into in the future. But for now, I say that that's something that you should take into consideration when choosing the media for your children. Choose media that is ad-free. So beyond physical health and obesity, another core aspect that people talk about is the mental health and academic progress of children who watch TV. Now, it's been debunked countless times that television leads to ADHD, so let's just throw that one out immediately. But when it comes to academic performance, there is a link that studies have found. According to research, a lot of times overindulgence in television while young actually decreases the chance of getting high school diploma or higher education later in life. And so that's kind of a scary thought, but something that has always irked me about those type of research studies is that they rarely take the context into consideration. It's just like, if you watch X hours of TV, you're more likely to do such and such. But a recent study that was done in 2015 showed that context does matter. They did a study that measured when the children were using their technology and what kinds of technology they were using, and they found out that it makes a world of difference. For example, like on weekends, when kids did a lot, it didn't affect their schooling, but if they did a lot on weekdays, it did affect their schooling. And it's pretty obvious to see the correlation, but sometimes in broad studies, that gets looked over. And so we need to start thinking more in terms of when are our kids watching instead of just how much. And also, like, what types? Because in that same study, they showed that video games and computer games had actually a positive effect on children's well-being when done in reasonable amounts. And so that goes to show that maybe there's a difference in the way that kids process different types of media. And so further research has taken me to the topic of active versus passive media. You've probably heard parents, if not your own parents, say that TV turns kids into zombies. You know, they're just sitting down in front of the TV, their eyes are glazed over, they don't know what they're watching, they're just sucked in. And to be fair, certain research experiments have shown that kids don't learn as well just watching through a screen, because, you know, it's the attention aspect just isn't there as much. But in today's world, with touchscreen technology, we have a lot of options for interactive media. Kids don't just have to watch Sesame Street, they can use like a Sesame Street interactive application where they can play games and do things that involve them being physically involved in the process. And studies have shown recently that that interactive capacity of video games or technology actually increases the child's ability to retain information and gain knowledge. So maybe technology isn't the bad guy. Maybe digital media isn't just harming kids, and in today's world, it can actually be more of a help than it can be a detriment. So I came up with 4 different guidelines to help you choose the correct media for your children instead of just focusing on how much. Number 1 is active. Is the child actively engaged in the process? Like, are they touching things? Are they making decisions? Are they talking to it? Are they interacting in an active way? The second one is engaged. Is it keeping their attention? Because if it's a poorly designed app, they might not stay attentive to it, or a poorly designed show, they may not want to keep watching it. Third, is it meaningful? Like, is there a purpose to it? Are they learning something? Are they learning a skill? Are they learning how to perform a task? Are they learning knowledge, things that are relevant to their lives? And fourth, is it social? Are they able to interact with other people and not just the screen? Like, can it be done with a friend? Can it be done with a parent? Can it be done with peers? Are they learning how to interact with other people as they use this technology? And so if it fits those 4 criterias, the focus should not be on how long are they doing it for. The focus should be on, is it benefiting them and their lives? Going back to the AAP guideline of 1 to 2 hours, I think it's time that we retire it. I think it's time that we use smart, context-based guidelines instead of sort of blanket statements. Because if the focus is on how much instead of what, then parents get the idea that technology is bad. And technology is not bad, it just needs to be chosen wisely. Thank you. This was Facts for You. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you think.